The Sal Sirchia Show, the mayor of rock and roll.
Quando è bella la stagione, e lo meno più bella ancora, il profumo d'ogni fiore, senti il dolce amore. Joanne, you know, I'm singing Italian because
yes.
our guest tonight is a real paisan who actually speaks fluent Sicilian just like me. I mean, when I hear him talking, it sounds like I'm listening to myself when I hear him talking, you know?
Oh, really?
He's a great actor. From Boardwalk Empire and tons of other stuff. Forbidden, he did that years and years ago. A movie called The Immigrants that's coming out soon. Big movie with a lot of big name actors, big budget. And he's done tons and tons of stuff. And his name is Al Linea. I mean,
all right.
Where's the crowd? Where's the roaring crowd? Usually I hear that. But I guess we don't have the audience live. It's not like we're on stage, so. I mean, you did do that once or twice, Joanne. After I said this person's name.
Okay, well, here we go. Here we go.
You got it? Okay. Al Linea, everybody. Marlon. So, everybody get back in your seats. Everybody sit back down. Let's have a big hand here. Come on, Al Linea. Come and say hello to all your thousands of fans that are listening right now.
Hello.
Al.
What's up, Sal? How you doing, Joanne? How's it going?
Fine. So glad you're
Joanne's
here.
hanging loose like a long-haired goose as usual.
Long-haired goose, that's right.
Yeah, she's a long-haired goose, and I'm a long-haired goose myself, you know.
Yeah, I just finished watching the biography on Metallica. What a story, man.
Oh, that movie,
really?
The Metallica movie?
Yeah, no, it wasn't a movie. It was just like a documentary on the band, like from when they first started up to now. And it was
oh, really?
Yeah,
right.
they should make a movie about them. Those guys went through a lot.
But is that the DVD that's out now, or was it you watching? Were you watching like Behind the Music on VH1, or is it that DVD that they have out now in stores? I forgot what it's called. I've seen it. I don't know if it's a movie or a documentary. I guess it's a documentary, right?
No, this was on the Biography channel, and
gotcha.
They're doing Black Sabbath is coming up next, so. You know.
Oh boy! So maybe we ought to get off this show and watch.
No, I just mentioned
with
it.
my woman, 'cause I'll sing. Finish with my show, 'cause we gotta watch some Black Sabbath.
Well, you know why? You know, Sal, since you're the mayor of rock and roll, you know, I had a, you know, I figured I'd mention it, you know, on your show.
That's right. Well, yes, I
Very
forget
nice.
sometimes that I am the mayor. And people relate me to the music business, but I do it all, man. I'm a musician, actor like you. I recycle my cans. I sell stuff on eBay. Whatever it takes to keep the roof over the head, man. You know.
Yeah, it's tough business, man. Really tough business. But so what are you guys up to tonight?
What we're up to? We're over here hanging loose with brother Al Linea from Boardwalk Empire and many more. So Al. Oh, what was that? Who was that? Did I hear somebody say hey?
Hey. No, it wasn't me.
It wasn't a hey. Oh, I'm hearing things. Must be with that bad air. You know, maybe my ears are still ringing from something. It could be because of. Could it be Karen Lynn Gorney yelling at me still from last week? No.
We're going to leave Carol alone tonight, Sal.
Yes. Poor Karen. All right. So, Al, you got to tell me and Joanne and all the audience and all the people out there listening, how old were you when you decided you want to get into acting, or what made you want to become an actor, and who's your, favorite idols? I'm sure a lot of them are going to be like Al Pacino or Robert De Niro, but go ahead.
No, well, hold on a second. I mean, you know, that's what one would think, but this is a little crazy. I mean, I probably was I was 8, 9 years old, and I was watching Grease with my sister. Okay, and you know, it's just something that I wanted from that time. You know, I enjoyed the movie, and it just sparked something in me, and and that's what I wanted to do. As far as my favorite actors and people I would like to, people I look up to, there's a bunch of them. Like Gary Oldman is on the top of my list.
I like Gary Oldman.
Yeah, Gary Oldman's great.
Yeah.
And obviously Pacino is definitely one, and Brando. I have a few, but basically I try to be myself, because you can't ever be like any one of them guys. So I just, I am who I am, and hopefully somebody will want to be like me one day.
Yeah, that's it. That's a good way of looking at it. I mean, and it's crazy. You get a lot of actors out there I've met. They want to try to become those kind of guys without paying the dues that those guys did. I mean, how could these imitators? I mean, they come in and their first movie and they're like they want to reach that kind of status of like Al Pacino. You got to start from the very roots. These guys have been acting for 20, 30 years. So in order to reach that status, you have to give it the same amount of dues. Paying the same amount of dues, I'd say.
Yeah, well, the thing is, it's such a hard business. It's just like the music business, Sal. And how, I don't have to tell you. It's, what it is? It's a process. Show business is a process, and you can't really try to, like be like anyone else. You just got to be yourself. And it took me 16 years just to get where I am, and I'm really not where I want to be, but hopefully I'll get there. You know what I mean? I'm still young. Hopefully I'll make it before I'm 60.
I mean, it doesn't matter. The thing is, the great thing about acting is like what you just said. There's no age limit in acting. So I mean, you could be 90 years old and get a lead role in a big Hollywood movie, or you could be 80 years old. That's the difference between music business and the movie business. Music, once you hit 20, they're like, oh man, this guy's getting too old. He's already 20.
Right.
Wow.
But like I was saying, it's a process. Like in the beginning, you start off with independent film. You gotta. I always tell actors, I mean, you gotta try to take some kind of training. You know what I mean? Something just to know what it's about, and then work yourself into independent film, and and then from there, people start to take notice, and then you make a little name for yourself, and what I mean by process is that you get to sometimes you get a shot to work with certain people. I've been lucky. I mean, so far I worked with great talent, great directors, and it's not like it's a lot of time. You got to put a lot of time in it, and you got to really want it, and because 95% of this business, I'm going to go even higher. 99.9% is disappointment. You go to auditions, and 9 times out of 10 you ain't going to get it. So there's a lot of disappointment, but it's a process. You pay your dues, like you said, like these guys did for 20, 30 years. And then, little by little, people start to take notice. And, if you follow, like, other actors' careers, you'll see, like, I saw Kevin Costner in something. I forgot the name of the movie. And he was like a background actor. And, it just blew me away. And then, little by little, you get there. You know what I mean? It's hurry up and wait.
And there's nothing wrong with doing background acting because, I mean, you look at the movie that you just said that just made me think of something. The movie Coming to America with Arsenio Hall and Eddie Murphy. Now, if you look at that movie, that's really not that long ago. What was that, maybe late 80s, early 90s? I don't remember.
It's definitely over 20 years ago.
Okay, if you watch that movie, you'll see Samuel Jackson in the rest. Remember they'd be in that burger place. Samuel Jackson was an extra, sweeping the floors in the burger place while Arsenio Hall and Eddie Murphy are doing their scene. So
I think I'm sorry to cut you off, sir. I think he was the stick-up man. He was the stick-up man. He came in there with the shotgun and tried to rob them.
That's right.
In the Coming to America?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. but he also was sweeping. So I mean, maybe they used him in two parts because I remember seeing him also in the background sweeping. In the burger place. So they could have used him twice. I mean, I did a Bon Jovi video where I played two parts. I played a mob guy of what else to do? And I'm playing mob guys all the time, the rock and roll mob guy. And I also played a bum. So in the same night we shot in Manhattan, I was a bum in one scene on the floor laying down, with my like a homeless guy. And in the other scene I was in a suit with the hair slit back and smoking the cigarette. So it's possible that they used them in two scenes. They figure people won't know anyway,
Yeah, well, I mean, they definitely got their money's worth. I mean, did you know that Samuel L. Jackson is like in the top 5 like leading men, like grossing over $5 billion in his work? Not him personally, but his work.
Oh yeah, well, I know what they did. Those called the Matrix movies. Them guys were making big millions in that movie.
Yeah.
I know he was the Matrix, and he did a lot of movies before that too. But those Matrix movies, they were making millions. Harold from Oz was also part of that clique of the Matrix movies. I mean, they make about 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah, I think they made about 3.
And I know the actors. I don't know the exact numbers, but I know each actor was making into the lot of millions. I mean, like 10 million and stuff like that. So you're right. I mean, and he's a great actor anyway. I mean, he's always been great.
Yeah, I mean, one of my favorites. Talk about favorites is Denzel Washington. Man, I mean, he's just so good in everything that he plays. It doesn't matter the role. Denzel Washington just kills it every time.
He's a very, very mellow guy. I worked with Denzel Washington twice. I worked with him in the American Gangster, and I worked with him in Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3 with John Travolta, and then Denzel Washington and James Gandolfini. They were all in there. And that was a huge, huge budget. That was like a $200 million budget. Right? Those guys were getting $20 million each. I heard Travolta, Denzel Washington, $20 million for a movie, man.
Yeah, I mean, so I look. You know what? We all would like to make that money, but some of us. I mean, for me, it's more about the work right now than the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they always say,
sure.
I mean, people always say, even in the music business and the movie business, they always say, leave the money out of it. Do it for the love, and the money will start following after. It's like almost like saying, like, throw your mind over it, and your body will follow. So it's almost the same exact thing.
I mean, the way I look at it, especially when I did the execution scene in Boardwalk. I mean, if you gotta have fun. I mean, and all the stuff I do, I try to have fun with it, because when it becomes a job and you have to like force yourself to do it, then it's not fun anymore.
That's right.
And then you're not going to perform well. It's just like you playing, Sal. If you got to be forced to play, then you're not going to be whatever.
Yeah.
So I think just having fun with the work and just doing what you got to do and forget about everything else and just be in a moment and try to perform at a high level, and that's I think is the key.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And we got to give a shout out to Fabian Gustavo out there, who's been doing this incredible promotional work and making the website and the ads for tonight's show.
Mm-hmm.
Fabian, he's listening right now. He's out there in Panama. Yeah.
There's I have on Friday a film that I did with James Gray. It's the second film I've done with him. I did Wheel in the Night with him, and he called me in to do this film called The Immigrant. The trailer's on YouTube. It's a great film. There's my scene was actually with the 2008 Oscar winner, Marianne Cotillard. She is outstanding. And I had a great scene with her. It's coming out this Friday. They're doing a New York, LA release, and I don't know where it's gonna go from there. But it's gonna, for anybody who's in New York, I think they should definitely check it out. It's gonna be at the Angelica Theater in the Village on Houston and Mercer, I believe.
Beautiful. That's nice. Now, that trailer is also on Al Linea's wall right now. If you go to his Facebook page and look on his wall, you could click on that. And also scenes from Boardwalk Empire right on the website. People are tuned into the website right now. You can see all the scenes from Boardwalk Empire where Brother Louis gets shot.
Yeah, Louis is a great guy, man. Great guy. I had fun working with him. Actually, we became good friends. That was the first time I worked with him, and we actually became good friends. One of the actors on there, Max Casella, I'm sure you guys know who he is. He was on Doogie Howser MD. He played Vinny Del Pino. He was on The Sopranos. I actually knew Max way before we played brothers on Boardwalk. It was a crazy coincidence. I knew him for like 15 years or whatever, and then we end up on the same show playing brothers. So
wow.
It was kind of cool.
Tell the audience out there. Well, first of all, I want to tell everybody too, and I don't even think you know this, Al, that I'm not to pat myself on the back. I was one of the first people who knew about the show Boardwalk Empire before it was announced. I had some in connection there with this woman I know who's friends with Martin Scorsese, and she told me they're going to be doing a show called Boardwalk Empire, and it's going to be about all Italians in the 20s and Atlantic City and all this stuff. And she told them about me. So he's apparently Martin Scorsese told her, I like to check this guy out, but nothing ever came of that. But I heard about it. I already had the script, the first script and everything. So I went down to audition for Ellen Lewis.
Okay.
You know who she is, right? Ellen
Yes,
Lewis?
Yes, I do.
I went there, I met her in the office. She kept telling me, Sal, your hair's too long. I said, well, I'll cut it. And we were going back and forth, and she'd let me know what's going on. Then I heard that she had gotten fired from casting that show.
No, I don't think that's true, Sal.
What happened afterwards? They brought her back again. So I heard they got rid of her for a little while, and then got her back to doing the casting. By that time, I thought she was gone, so I never even tried again. So, but she still did the casting, right?
Well, she, Ellen Lewis is, I've auditioned for her. She is one of the best casting directors that I've ever been in front of. I mean, she's totally supportive. She's great. She does every single Scorsese film. And she cast a pilot for Boardwalk, which Marty was doing. And then after the pilot was done, Meredith Tucker was the casting director from that point on, from the second episode on.
That's what I heard. Meredith Tucker, that's right. I remember I heard that. And I was telling people, I was calling up Bob Clohessy and telling them about this show. I called up William Forsythe and told them about this show. And everybody that I told about ended up on the show except for me.
Wow.
This is a true story. Everybody, and William Forsythe was on it. Bob Clohessy, all these guys didn't even know about the show yet. I was calling them and say there's going to be a new show coming called Boardwalk Empire. And they all ended up with a part. And I guess I never went back to Ellen Lewis because I heard that she wasn't doing it anymore. So that's what happened with that. So tell everybody who's listening, Al, how did you end up on this show?
Well, what happened was I have a good relationship with Meredith Tucker, and during the Soprano days, and she had called me in a few times. I booked something on the Sopranos, but I got edited out. But it's all right. I still got paid, whatever. And then when she took over the casting for Boardwalk, she had called me in for this Philly family. They were called the D'Alessio brothers. So I went in there for one brother, Ignatius, and I went in front of Terry Winter, and I didn't get that part. That was for like episode 2 or 3. No, I'm sorry, 2. And then she called me back in again, and I said, I got to get this. And then I auditioned for Matteo D'Alessio. There was like 8 brothers or something like that. And then I nailed it, and then I was in 5 episodes. I didn't think we were going to get killed, but what are you going to do? It is what it is. I had a great time. I got to work with Steve Buscemi, who I love. He's a great guy, great actor. I worked with great talent and directors. I mean, I can't complain. I'm glad they gave me a shot.
I know 5 episodes with speaking roles, which you were a main character. You were a main character on that show. 5 episodes on a show like that is absolutely excellent. Are you kidding me?
I mean, it was cool. I just, when the thing that you never know what you're going to get in your email. Once you're part of the cast, I wasn't a major part of, I wasn't, I was in it, but, I wasn't a major character or nothing like that. But, the hardest part is when you open up your inbox and you read the script, for that episode, and then you find out you're getting killed. That's like the hardest part, man. That's the hardest part.
Yeah, you get killed off, because it's a big SAG film, and was that SAG, right? Boardwalk Empire.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean everything. Everything with them was first class, man. Everything down the line, everything. From cast, crew. I mean, there was crew that I worked with on Boardwalk that I ended up meeting on the last film that I did with James Gray. And it's such a small world out there. Everybody thinks that, it's bigger than what it is, but it's such a small community. Everybody knows each other, and everybody works on different productions. And that's why, when, I go to, when I'm on set or I get cast for something, I always try to be the best that I can be, performing, and also, just being a good person, man, because, that's very important. Your character tells them who you are. And, you don't want to get labeled as a hard person to work with or someone who don't listen. It's a small world, Yeah,
that's true. Right. You become part of the clique. Once they get to like you, like we were talking about earlier before. You work with certain directors, and they get to like you. They end up using you or using the same people, like in a lot of the same movies, because they worked with you already, and they know you're easy to work with, and you're so they'll want to use a lot of the same people. Even me, a lot of people say to me, that see the movies I'm in, and say, Sal, how come so many of the movies you're in is all the same people in it? I said, well, that's just like you watch the old Bruce Lee movies, back in the 70s. If you watch the movies, every actor in every movie is the same people. They just play the different character,
Yeah,
so,
that's really, really important, I mean, your reputation and who you are, I mean, it's, you could commit career suicide real fast,
Oh, yeah. Well, you get you get those prima donnas, that, you get, I've been worked on sets of movies where you get these guys who, I could only eat this, so this is what I want. They're making the, the crew run to, McDonald's because they're in the mood for McDonald's. They won't eat what's over there or whatever. You get those kind of people. those are a pain in the butt to work with. It's like, what the hell? We got lasagna here. You don't like lasagna? I got to go get your McDonald's.
Right. Yeah. It's just like a regular day job. If you work for a company or something, you're not gonna like everybody you work with, but what are you gonna do? You got to work with them. You know what I mean?
You got to work with them, and you got to try. I mean, even me, I'm just naturally myself, and and I see many people that I've worked with that are like, like what we were saying, they have attitudes or whatever, but. Me, I just let it slide off, and I try to get them to like me. And if they don't, hey, what can I tell you, man? You want to be miserable on your own. I ain't going.
Yeah, at the end of the day, Sal, we're there to do a job, and that's it. You know what I mean? I prepare myself, especially, if it's something intense, and that's it. Preparation and the work, and just do the work, and that's it. It's just like putting a picture up, You get a hammer and nails.
That's what I wanted to ask you, Al. I want to ask you about the preparation, because you two actors are talking like, oh, this is a piece of cake. You just go to work and that's it. But there seems to be a lot more involved in that. I mean, you get a role in Boardwalk Empire. How did you prepare for that character, or does that scare you? Do you go, oh, goodness, am I going to meet their expectations or whatever the case may be? How do you prepare for a character?
Well, what I did was, for that particular role, what I did was I bought the book, okay? I read the story. I bought the book. I read the story. Then and then what I did was I did some research on the Philly mob around the 1920s that was, running Philly at that time. And I came across these brothers. They were called the Lanzetti brothers, and there was a bunch of them, just like there was on Boardwalk. And I'm sure that they did their homework as well, and they used these guys as a model for us. So what I did was I used one of the brothers. His name was actually Teo, and they ran Philly at that time in the 1920s. They were bootleggers. So what I did was I studied that character. I studied them. I read up about these brothers and what they did. And I just took it from there. I basically created them, because there wasn't much to go on, online. So I basically, I got the history, and I just created them,
And so how much of that character is Al?
I'm sorry.
Is
Al,
I'm sorry. Opposed to the character? Because the reason why I'm asking, because earlier this week I had an actress on who said that 100% of it was her in a character. So is that all Al, or is that the character? How much of yourself is in a character that you play, or is there any at all?
Well, Joanne, the thing is, the whole point is, for me, I can't speak for everybody, is you're not supposed to be yourself. You're supposed to be someone else. That's the beauty of it. So, when I book something, I try to create it, and make it my own. I don't use myself, to become somebody else. You know what I mean? I don't play myself. I try not to anyway.
Right.
But Sal had mentioned something before, and this is something that really irks me, is, the typecasting. And it's so, the business is so hard as it is right now. And, being put in a position where you could only play a mob guy or a cop or a stereotypical character, is something that really, bothers me in a way, because I feel like I could do other things. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to play, I don't know, a professor in Columbia University. But I feel that there should be more roles for Italian American actors. I think we're more than what we are, as we're perceived, and that kind of bothers me.
Yeah.
Well, let's go to that commercial, Joanne, and you got it all queued up. We'll go to the commercial, and
here we go.
And we'll be back with Al Linea.
Here is a well-documented fact. Humans spend approximately 33% of life in bed. That's a good reason to consider bringing your bed into the 21st century. With Function All Linens, they'll change your bedtime forever. Designed for every kind of bedtime you can imagine, these fun and functional bed sheets have his and her side pockets that hold pretty much everything but the kitchen sink. The pockets allow you to have your cell phone, iPad, remotes, and anything else you need within your fingertips' reach at all times. No more cluttered nightstands. No more fumbling around in the dark. Simply reach for your pocket. Experience the affordable comfort and pure luxury that only Function All Linens can offer. For more information or to order, visit functionall-linens.com or beddazzle.com.
we are back, folks, with brother, my paisan, great actor and great human being, a great person, Al Linea. And we were just talking about we left off where he was saying about depending on the typecasting kind of thing. I mean, you could get great actors, but I think no matter how great an actor is, I don't think an actor could play everything for the simple reason of the look. For instance, Al Pacino is an amazing actor, but I can't picture Al Pacino playing Shakespeare. You know what I mean? I mean, I can't. You look at me. Picture me playing Shakespeare. It just doesn't work. You know?
Yeah, I mean,
comedy thing,
you say that, Sal, but if you rehearsed it enough and you put the work in, I'm sure you could probably do it. I mean, it's all.
You know what I think it is too. Yeah, you're right. I think we can do it, but does it work? In other words, I'll give you an example of what I mean. I guess because I've seen like John Travolta as a good example. He's an amazing actor, John Travolta. And I worked with him, and he could practically do anything. But at the same time, I've seen him in movies that I just doesn't do it for me. Just doesn't have that look like he played that alien that time, and he's got the John Travolta face with an alien. It's like you're watching and I'm like, John Travolta, You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Pacino has played Henry VIII on Broadway. He's done his own
absolutely.
film, a Shakespearean film. He's done it.
Right.
But just like Al said, Al, you said you can't picture yourself playing a professor at Columbia, and I suddenly thought to myself, yeah, but if the character calls for it, I'm sure you could put yourself in that position.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't like the word can't, but I'm saying, I mean, it's just sometimes, after a while, you know where you fit in. You know what I mean?
I know.
You gotta get in where you fit in. So.
Right, well, yeah. Go ahead, Al. I'm sorry.
No. What were you saying, Sal? Go ahead.
I was going to say exactly what you were just saying just now. It's the same thing with me. I mean, can we act it and play it? Yes, but does it look right? In other words, that's why everybody should have the right look for the part. In other words, if you're going to use a Shakespeare kind of guy, then use that kind of guy that has that kind of face, who looks like that. Like what's his name? I saw that movie. Russell Crowe is a good example. You put long hair on him, and you put that kind of weird accent. He could play the Viking types, and he also could play a cop. I worked with him in American Gangster. He played the cop, but yet you see him in that movie. What's the movie that I totally didn't like? I'm not into it. That big Hollywood film.
Les Miserables.
That's it. I watched that. I couldn't get into that for the life of me.
Yeah. Les Miserables.
Right. How did you know I was going to say that?
Because I with him singing, and it was the singing part that got me. He wasn't. He didn't seem like he was fit for that, but whatever.
There's something about. I just can't get into them, and meanwhile, it's a crazy thing. I mean, Grease kind of inspired me at a young age, and it was a musical, and for some reason. I just can't stand musicals. I don't know why. I just can't stand them. I can't stand them.
Odd, Al.
I don't know. I mean, there's something that I just, if I want to see a musical, I'll go to Broadway. You know what I mean? I don't like to watch it on screen.
Right.
You have to. Yeah, you know what it is? Because sometimes I think what musicals have to be, in my opinion, is the songs in the movie have to be great, and the movie has to be good. So I mean, like for instance, Jesus Christ Superstar, that's a masterpiece, right? Then you get Tommy from 1975 with The Who, and to me that was a great movie. That old big star.
I like Chicago.
I never saw that, so I can't say anything.
I like the music in it. I don't know.
But we're talking about now. Grease is a musical, but Grease just has songs in it here and there, throughout the movie. When we talk about musical, you're talking about where the whole movie is singing from beginning till end. Everything is in a song from beginning till end, like Jesus Christ Superstar. There's never a moment where they're doing acting. Grease was different. Grease, you got the acting going on, and then they go into a song. But the musicals like that, less miserable. I don't even know how to say it. Miserable. You know what miserable means in Italian, right, Al? Miserable.
Yeah.
That movie was a real miserable.
Yeah,
but it won all kind of Grammys and Oscars and whatever you want to call it, all kind of big. I mean, I just watched it. They SAG sent it to me like, 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
Yeah, I got it in the mail, too.
Right, I just watched it for the first time the other day. I forced myself. I'm saying, I'm really not digging this, but leave it on anyway, you know.
Yeah, I think, I'm more into, like, the storytelling part. You know, I like the drama, the story. You know, I love comedy. Comedy's great, you know. But the storytelling is so important, man, you know. And I think if you guys check out The Immigrant, you'll love it. It's such a great story. It's a great film. I mean, it's a timepiece, you know, about the 1920s and, you know, what was going on back then with, you know, all the immigrants coming over and how, you know, these women were forced, you know, into prostitution by these, you know, these guys from Manhattan. And it's really, you know, it's like almost, you know, a story that you would hear like the old timers tell, you know, like an old story, and and it's just, I think it's a great piece. I don't know why it has a limited release on it, but you know, I mean, I think everybody should just take a look at this, just for, you know, for the historical reasons. You know, there was a lot of stuff going on, you know, with the immigrants coming over from different countries that when they got here, you know, they were forced to do things that, you know, they didn't want to do, you know, just to stay in this country, you know.
And New York City at that time was like a melting pot. You had immigrants from all over coming in.
Yes.
So,
and it was a lot of shady people, a lot of crooked cops, and you know, the police ain't what it is today, and you know, your crimes, people got killed, and you wouldn't even hear about it because nobody knew they existed, you know. And I think it's just a great timepiece, you know.
Hey, Al, now, we were talking earlier, me and you, not to change the subject, about that on your actor's reel that's on YouTube. If anybody wants to check out Al Linea's acting reel on YouTube, just click in acting reel with Al Linea acting reel, and if there's any filmmakers out there, either you thousands and thousands of listeners, any filmmakers or directors who are looking for great actors like me and Al, so just go to youtube.com and type in Al Linea, Linea, acting reel, and that'll pop up. And there you see a scene where Al Linea is playing a cop in the movie with Mark Wahlberg. Tell them about that movie, and what's the name of the movie again?
I did that in 2007. That was my first film with James Gray. Initially, I auditioned for Joaquin Phoenix was in it, Mark Wahlberg, Ava Mendes, Robert Duvall, and I went down to audition to play Joaquin Phoenix's best friend that betrays him in the movie, and I didn't get it, but you know, somehow the director, he liked me for something. He wanted to put me in there for something, so he made me play Joaquin Phoenix's arresting officer, and you know, what turned out as a one-liner in the script turned into a much bigger scene, and you know, I love improvisation, so you know, James wanted me to add more to the character, and you know, I just improv'd a lot of that scene. Most of it is all improv, except for that one line when I come up the stairs, and it worked. You know, coming into the station, you know, and you know, when I was just going over the scene, you know, there was James Gray there. I got Mark Wahlberg to my right, you know, Phoenix to the left, and I was like, wow, you know, it was kind of, you know, I was in awe.
Mark Wahlberg has gotten so big.
And he's, you know what, he's a great guy, man. he really is a great guy. You know, working with him, and he was very supportive on the set. I mean, Phoenix was a little quiet. It was just about because he just came off that movie where he played Johnny Cash, and he was nominated for an Oscar for that. Walk the Line, and
okay, right.
And when we were outside, it was just me and him, and I was just trying to make conversation, ready to do the take, and I just told him, I said that you did great work on that, and he was like, thanks, and then he was really like, I guess he was trying to stay in character, or whatever, but he was all right. But Wahlberg was a little more, supportive and loose, and and I think and I met him a couple of times. He's one of the executive producers on Boardwalk, and for the second time when I went to the premiere in Manhattan at when we were in Rockefeller Center. And I saw him. He was like, he goes, Hal, you did a great job, blah blah blah. And I would just love to work with him. He's a great guy. He really is.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Looking at him, he seems like a really down-to-earth guy. I mean, even though he's a big, huge Hollywood movie star, he doesn't come off that way. And like he does, when I see him in movies or on interviews, he just seems like a regular guy that from Brooklyn type of guy. I don't know. He just doesn't,
you know what it is, Sal? He's the type of guy. I mean, I don't know him personally, but you could see that he didn't forget where he came from. You know what I mean?
That's right. That's 100% right. That's what I really wanted to say, because exactly what you just said. He knows where he came from, and it's from the streets, and getting to where you got to get where he got to. He appreciates it, so he doesn't let it go to his head, because, we could all end up back there again, just like the Rocky Saga movies, where he made it to the big time, he made millions and this and that, and then he was back. What was that? The last movie, he ended up broke again, and
until the Expendables.
Which one?
When he tried to get Balboa done, the last installment. And when he finally did that, then the Expendables came out, and then he caught fire again.
Right. Well, John Travolta said in an interview, he said, always keep working, because you never know which movie is going to be a big hit.
Yeah.
You never know. So you just keep doing them. And, I mean, leaving John Travolta, you look in the old days, he, like you said, he was Times of Grease and Saturday Night Fever, Grease, Urban Cowboy, all those movies, you couldn't touch him. He was tremendous, huge, and then all of a sudden, I don't know what happened, and before you know it, he was still working, but he was.
Well, what happened was Pulp Fiction happened. That's what happened.
Well, that's what brought him back up again. But for a long stretch there, he was still working and doing movies, but movies that were like going straight to video at the time, VHS tapes, and movies like they were still good. He was doing some great acting, but they were not big movies. And then the Pulp Fiction, started the fire again, and then from there on.
Yeah.
Joanne, you got any cool questions for Brother Al?
Well, I was just really interested in the acting process, which I always found so fascinating with actors, because I notice when actors talk, it's like, oh, yeah, it's work, and, we get on the set, we work when it's over. But they never discuss the process, which people can appreciate, because there's a lot of work that goes into it. There's a lot of research that goes into it, and then you have to be in the moment, of the acting. There's a whole lot of stuff that goes into it. Don't you think, guys? Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, the thing is, as far as the work, it's you're looking at a long day. So because you're doing different takes, you're shooting from different angles, and you gotta bring that same intensity or whatever it is that you're doing. You have to bring it every single time, no matter which angle it is. So there is a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes, and I'm not just talking about the actors. It's everybody. It's a collective effort. On everybody's part, the director, the crew, the actors. The actors is just one main component, but there's so much with everyone that's involved in it, in the production end too,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's to be appreciated, just like art, just like an artist, or someone who sculptures or whatever. It's an art form, and
absolutely, it definitely is. I mean, to how can I say this? I mean, you try to you basically becoming someone else every single time out, and that's what you got to leave who you are at the door and become who you're supposed to become. And that's why it's such a hard business, Joanne. I mean, not everybody could do it. If everyone could do it, then it wouldn't be it wouldn't be what it is.
An art form like it is, and I agree with you. But do you think you were a particular kind of child growing up? Is what makes an actor? What sort of childhood? Is it a child with an imagination, or were you imagining things all the time, or you wanted to be someone else playing, or you had an imaginary friend? Does it mold there, or I don't understand how someone just says, "Oh, I want to be an actor," and they bring it out. What do you think?
Well, I think it's something that I mean, I didn't have no imaginary friends, so all my friends were real.
Okay.
But
all right, my son had one, but go ahead.
But I mean, I'm a Gemini, so I mean, so if you look and you research this, I'm sure you'd be surprised if you type in Gemini actors on IMDb, you see the biggest names, I mean, ever in the history of film that are Geminis.
Really?
I'm not saying all of them were Geminis, but a lot of them are, but it's like, going back as a kid, I mean, it's something I always wanted. I always was into music. My cousins were, Sal, you might know them, the Callips. They did a lot of, weddings and stuff like that. So, music influenced me a little bit, growing up. And I just loved the art. I loved the work, and it was just something I wanted to do. I wanted to try. I felt like I could do it.
So Gemini is the twins. Gemini is the twins. So right. So you're saying you're like two different people, or you could take on another character.
Well, we tend to be two different people all the time. I mean, you could get a nice Linea, or you could get the bad one, depending on what it is. But
so wait, if you're a Gemini, Al, if you're a Gemini, you must either just had a birthday or you have a birthday coming up, correct? Al?
Yeah, what happened there for a second? No, actually my birthday's coming up. It's May 23rd.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
because I said if you're a Gemini, we're in May. I mean, so you must be having a birthday coming up.
Yeah, May 23rd.
John, what's your sign?
I am Scorpio. I'm a Scorpion. I got the old.
Okay, so you were.
I look like the
October,
lobster.
November
1st.
Okay, cool.
1960, November 1st. Yeah, baby. The mayor of rock and roll came into the world November 1st, 1960, baby. All Saints
Crying
Day.
his lungs out.
All Saints Day. Can you believe that? 1960. I don't look like I've been around that long, do I?
Nah, I don't think so.
Now, Al, before you and Joanne were talking about something that I wanted to try to jump in, but I didn't want to interrupt you guys about when Joanne was asking you about how do you do the characters and you stay into character. Now, I'm an actor as well as you. I'm one of those actors who could turn it on and off like that. I mean, I don't have to stay into character. Are you one of those kind of guys who has to stay in character, or can you turn it on and off just like that, at the snap of the fingers?
You know what? I like to be loose, but it depends on what the role is. You know what I mean? If it's it depends on what I'm working on. I mean, if it's something where, it calls for a lot of intensity, then, I'm going to have to try to stay there for a little while. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
If
everybody's different. I mean, I worked on Oz, and you had some of the greatest actors on there, and they would stay in character. Michael Wright, he's a good friend of mine, and he would, didn't want to disturb him because he's walking around staying in character, and there's nothing wrong with that. Me, I mean, not patting myself on the back, but every movie I've done, I'm the type where I'm playing around, hanging out, goofing around with everybody, and as soon as they say, "Okay, Sal, you're on," boom, I go right into what I got to do, and it's like, who was like that too? My friend Joe Spinell. He was one of those kind of guys who's like, playing dice in the corner, drinking. Sal, Joe, you're on. Okay, right into character. Boom. So everybody's different. Yeah, I mean, everybody's different with that. I could, do a scene where they want me to cry, and boom, I just cry right on the spot and really cry, not just fake it.
So, Al, are you a method actor? Is that a difference for your method actor? Sal, you're a method actor?
I don't know what that means.
Well, are you an actor who, what's his name, who played Al Capone, Robert De Niro, and he changed his whole physique for the role?
No, oh boy, okay, now Robert De Niro.
You really got into it. You saw Al Capone and Robert De Niro.
You're talking about when he did Raging Bull. Right?
Well, when he did Raging Bull, when he did The Untouchables, he played Al Capone, and he took on the form of Al Capone, gained all the weight. That's a method actor. I mean, who actually acts into character.
No, I wouldn't say I'm a method actor. If that's what it takes, I'm definitely not a method actor.
Well, I am in a sense. Yes, I could say I am. I mean, like I said, it always goes back to what role you're cast as. That's
right.
what that's where the work comes in, and that's where the method comes in.
Yeah, and I'll admit, I mean, sometimes some people get parts in movies, right, Al? All of a sudden they get called last minute, and you don't even have a script or nothing. And you're going on the set and winging it, but. Like if you have your lines, like a few pages of lines, and you give it to me a few weeks ahead of time, I'll practice it. I'll read it a million times where I could do it in my sleep. So as soon as I come on the set, boom, I got it down 1, 2, 3 because I already had the time to practice it. But I mean, we did the movie Coalition, and Frank Vincent was doing the scene with Chuck Zito and me, and he had the script because he wasn't prepared for it. They just called him last minute because we originally was supposed to be Burt Young, and he couldn't do it because he was doing Rocky Balboa. The second choice was Danny Aiello. Danny Aiello was ill at the time, so he couldn't do it, so they called Frank Vincent. And he came last minute, and while we were doing the scene, he had the script right on the table in front of him with the cameras up where you don't see the script on the table, and he would look down and read the line and do it like right there. See, I'm not good at that. I have to at least have it with me for a few days so I could really memorize it,
Yeah, I don't think I would be able. I couldn't do that either. I couldn't do that either. I mean, there's times where, you go through memorization and repetition is the key to memorization. So I mean, to go on set and just wing it like that. I want to know why I'm here. Why, what is this character? Why is he here? What is he trying to accomplish? Who is he? Where's he from? How does he talk? How does he act? What is he like? Maybe he likes to, scratch his ear every once in a while. Maybe he has a twitch. I'd like to see it ahead of time. This way you could add some layers to it and just go in depth. You know what I mean? Instead of just going there and say, okay, you're going to say this and this and that, and then boom. I don't know. I can't work like that. I did a TV
you become
movie.
The character.
Right. You want to do. You want to own it. And
and by the way, they did a great job on it. Even though Frank Vincent just had it right in front of him, he nailed it. Him and Chuck nailed it. It was great. So. Just in case, I don't want to say it was a bad.
Yeah, no. I'm not saying. I'm just saying for me personally, I wouldn't. That would be a little. I'm not saying I couldn't do it, but I would like to know, in advance. This way, I could prepare for it. You know.
Exactly. Me too. I'm my reading. Sometimes my eyes are blurry. If I had to take my glasses off and look down at the script and try to read it while I'm doing the scene, forget about it. I couldn't do it because I can't even. My eyes would be too blurry unless I have to wear my glasses.
I did a TV movie. This was a pilot for USA Network. It was called Over Under. I did it about maybe a year and a half ago. About maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago. And I went in, and they wanted me to play an Italian counterman, like in a butcher shop. And my whole scene was in Sicilian. I improv the whole scene in Sicilian. They told me what they wanted to hear, and then I just went in there, and I'm having a conversation with two guys that none of them could understand what I'm saying, and I had to make it where they, actually, it was hard. It was a little hard, but it worked. It worked. So I got two Russian guys that are supposed to be Sicilians, and I'm speaking to them in Sicilian, and they're just nodding their head to me. And it was crazy, Sal. It was crazy.
I did that in with William Forsythe. I told William Forsythe, he had no idea. It was like we did the scene right on the spot, and I just thought of whatever we were going to talk about as I was driving to the set. And I told William Forsythe, whenever I end with English, that's when you come in. So I would say, I'd be talking to him in Italian, I collected 2,000. No. He knows that's his cue to come in. So I said, William, listen, whenever I end my sentence with something in English, that's your cue to come in to say whatever you want to say.
Yeah, that happened to me in The Immigrant when we were filming. Marion and this Russian actor, his name was Ilya Volok. Really, really good actor, man. Both of them had to learn Polish to do this scene. And, I'm stuck over there, and there was like a split second where we needed something in there. And I had to learn like one line of Polish just so I can improvise my next line and fill in that gap, because there was like a little gap where we needed something while they were arguing. And James Gray wanted me to come in there with something. And I had to learn, one line in Polish, and I was confused for a second. I mean, but, they give you the last word or the last two words that they're going to say, and then bam, you come in like
it's
you
hard.
did with William Forsythe. That works, that definitely works.
No, but doing a different language, it's hard. I mean, look at me. I called you 3 times because I wasn't sure how to say your last name. And that's the truth, folks. Oh, I got to give a shout-out to my friend Jill, who's listening right now. I looked on Facebook and she said, hey, give me a shout-out, laughing out loud. So, hey, Jill, this one's for you. I hope you heard it. But getting back to what we were saying. Oh, who was that? Was that you, Joanne?
That was me.
Oh, okay.
So
Yes.
why are you not hearing me? You keep mistaking me for other people.
Well, I think it's because we collide together at the same time. So when I hear your voice, it's like we're stepping on each other, and it kind of makes it sound different. So I thought it was somebody else.
Oh, okay. All
yeah,
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I can't
do.
believe this show. You believe how fast this show went, Al? I mean, we got 2 minutes left.
I know. But one thing for sure, people have to watch The Immigrant. When is it, Al, this weekend?
It's coming out Friday, May 16th. The only place that I know in New York is at the Angelica Theater in the Village on Houston and Mercer. It's going to be out on Friday. It's Marion Cotillard, Joaquin Phoenix, and Jeremy Renner. And that's it. That's what I got coming out now. I got some irons in the fire. Hopefully something will come up soon, and hopefully I could come on here again and with something new next time.
That's right. Absolutely. We're definitely going to have you on again, brother, with Paisans.
Yeah.
Joanne, he's a Paisan. Parla un poco italiano. Say a few words in Italian.
Che bocarico, che da dire?
Cantami una bella canzone italiana.
Una vita cantare, una vita cantare.
Allora dici a tutta sta bella riga, grazie per well, look, I can't even think of what to say.
Well, listen, I want to thank you guys for having me on. It was an hour of good fun, and I love talking about this stuff, and I appreciate all your support. And
Al, tomorrow, Joanne will let me know tomorrow how many people were tuned in. Hopefully we broke the record of like 10, 15,000, whatever it is. No, we would have to get 13,000 to break the record. We've had 12,000 listeners. So if you broke the record tonight, brother, I'm sure Hollywood will be calling by tomorrow.
Well, I wish you guys all the best. I hope we break all the records, but I'm not in this to break records. I'm in this to, to support you guys, and you guys support me, and hopefully, better things will come for everybody.
Yeah, we're better off playing the records instead of breaking them. All right, everybody, thank you so much. This has been the Sal Sirchia Show with my co-host Joanne Mathis and my guest Al Linea. Keep an eye out for him. He's a great actor, and you'll be seeing him in a lot of stuff real soon. So cheers, folks, and thank you very much.
Thank you for listening. This has been a Mathis Media Hub production.